Welcome back to another tutorial, and today we're going to be making this subscribe text animation. This is really just more of like a liquid animation, but let's get into it. We're going to name this liquid text animation, and we're going to leave it at a typical HD 1920 by 1080. I do want to advise you this, I am going to go pretty fast, so just pause it or slow it down to keep up. We're going to type in our text tool, we're going to type our text. We're going to hit Control Enter to deselect and Control Alt Home to move home point to the middle. We're going to align it to the center in the horizontal, and we're going to pre-compose it immediately. Call it just text, call it whatever you want. And we're going to add our effect Vegas and effects and presets. Go to Vegas. And immediately what we want to do is change the segments to 1. We want to change our blend mode to transparent. Change this to 1. Change end opacity to 1. Alright. And change the width to 4. And what we're gonna do here is change our color. You can change it to whatever you want. I'm just gonna do some orange, yellow, and purple. And you can make it a little thicker if you want, it's your choice. So we're gonna go ahead and add this randomness to our text. And you wanna go to 2 seconds because we're gonna add keyframes at 2 seconds. So go ahead to 2 seconds. And you want to add a keyframe for length and rotation. So click length and rotation. Alright. And you want to go back to the beginning and change the length to 0 and the rotation to -90. Alright, and this is what you should be looking at right now. If you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our text and we're gonna duplicate it, Control D, and go forward about 5 frames and move this layer 5 frames forward. And let's press U on both of them and select all the keyframes and easy ease them, pressing F9. And let's change the color so we can differentiate the layers. Name this Y for yellow and P for purple. And we'll change this to purple. And our second layer, we can't see it because it's the same color, so let's go ahead and change it to a yellow. Okay. And this is what you should be looking at. Perfect. Alright, now what we're gonna do with our second text layer is we're gonna click on it and duplicate it again. So go forward 5 frames. But we want to go back and we want to change the random seed to about 2 and change the width just so they look a little, more random. And we're gonna do the same for this layer. So go 5 frames forward and change the settings, the width, and the random seed. Alright, and this is what you should be looking at. Now we want to clean up the animation, so we're going to add some effects. We're going to add width, keyframe width at the beginning of the top layer, move it to 2 seconds, and then we're going to change it to 12. Alright, and we're gonna move this, get all these keyframes, easy ease them. I want to go to our effects and presets and let's put mini max. This is basically going to stop it from looking sloppy. So add minimum and put 4 or 5. Whichever one. Alright. And let's move this above everything. Make sure you have it above everything that matters. Alright, and let's change the radius a little bit. You can always change it according to how your text look, but you just want to get it to fill as much of the text as possible without leaking out. Alright, so we need one more in the effects and presets, so we're going to type in simple choker. Alright, and let's change this to about 4. So now I have a clean animation. Okay. Alright, and with this, like I said, duplicate it. And we're gonna change the colors again. And I'm just gonna keep it purple. I might change it to orange. Probably purple. Yeah. Let's go forward 5 frames and move it over. And we're gonna change the random seed, of course. And let's go change the name of this to P. And so far it's looking pretty great. Alright, now we want to press U and move this keyframe over. Alright, and we're going to change the width, because we want this to cover all the holes. Alright, and as you can see, we're going to have to take our mini-max down, and we're going to have to take our choker down. And of course, you're going to have to change this according to your text. But we just want to get it to fill all that yellow up. And you'll see exactly why later. So do it according to your liking. Alright, now that's good. Next we're going to change the random seed. Again, add more randomness. Alright, and let's adjust this a little more. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to select this one and we're going to duplicate it one more time, and let's rename this one to text mask. Alright, and with this one we want to take all the effects off of it, because this is going to be the mask for the text. And we're going to select all the ones below it, so let's change the color of it. Select all the ones below it and pre-compose them. Let's name this liquid. Alright, and we're gonna track matte, so if you don't see it, toggle switches and modes. Alpha matte text mask. And now we have a clean looking animation, but we want to close that gap, so let's move it forward. Boom, there we have it. Alright, so let's add some stroke to this. I'm going to change the colors right quick. And let's duplicate this one. So let's Control C. And let's Control V. Alright. On this one, let's press U. And let's remove the keyframes for length. And let's change the length to 0. Make sure it's at 0. Change the width to 2. And now let's see how it looks. Let's add that's gonna add our stroke, because you can't see it right now, but you will in a second. So let's add a keyframe right here. Move over about 5 frames. Add 0.02 to your length. Move over about 5 frames. And make it 0 once again. Alright, and you want to select all, and then you want to F9 easy ease them. And we're going to move our rotation keyframes over just to where they're about in the middle. It doesn't have to be exact. Alright. If you don't see it yet, you're going to see it in a minute. Don't worry about it. And let's call it stroke first. Turbulent displace. Alright. And you want to change the amount to about 18. And you want to change this that's another way you can try to see the stroke now. But if you still can't see it, do not worry, you will see it in a second. Alright, so we're gonna duplicate this, Control D, and we're gonna change the color to that yellow. So let's go and let's get that yellow or orange, and let's change the settings a little bit. Let's find it first. Alright, so let's move about here, and I think we found it right there. So as you can see, that's where your stroke is. So from here you can change the settings, move it around. Just mess with the settings basically. Okay. That's pretty good, I think. I like that. Alright, let's open a new solid, and let's just say BG for background. And you can leave the color at that, but if you want to change the color, you can go up to layer, solid settings, and change it to like a gray. Alright, now let's bring this underneath everything, and we're going to add fractal noise right here. Noise and grain, fractal noise. And let's change the contrast to 400 or 4400, whichever. Just make it a big amount. Change the scale to 50. And let's change this. Or actually, we'll leave this here. This should be fine. Now we want to change the brightness to -100. Alright, so let's go ahead and pre-compose this layer. We can call it texture. Alright, open the texture, and let's go in here and let's change these settings a little bit. So we're gonna add keyframes for the offset turbulence. So go to the beginning, and you just want to move it randomly up 1,000. So we're gonna move to about 5 frames forward, and let's move it up about 1,000. We just want it to look random. Same thing, 5 up 1,000, 5 frames forward, up 1,000, at least 1,000. Alright, press U. Let's look at those keyframes. And we're gonna select them all, and we're gonna toggle our keyframe, toggle hold keyframe. Alright, and that basically makes it to where you only see the change when the keyframe hits. So I'll hold Alt and click that stopwatch, and we're gonna add an expression for loop out. Double click it and then click somewhere else, and so we have this looping for the rest of the layer. So boom, now we've got our movement in this animation. Alright, so you want to click on this texture and you want to click T for the opacity and change it to about 2%, and I think 1% probably will look better. Maybe a little less, but either way, let's go ahead and make our another background, and let's call it BG. It should be the same color, and just pull that underneath. And that's it for this tutorial, guys. I know it was a kind of a long, difficult one, but I advise you to stop and take a break and just rewind the video and keep watching so you can see exactly what to do. Thank you all for watching. Peace.